It's not looking good for Donald right now. His health continues to rapidly deteriorate. His cognitive abilities, his motor functions, his physical appearance, it's all unraveling. At the same time, he's also getting crushed by his cover-up of the Epstein files. And there's an important connection there as well, because when you read the Epstein files, you had some of Donald Trump's closest aides speaking to Jeffrey Epstein, like Steve Bannon, basically working with Epstein on a plan to try to get Mike Pence to resign, move in Mike Pompeo, invoke the 25th Amendment against Donald Trump, move in Pompeo to become the president. And it seemed that some of Donald Trump's closest advisors during his first term were saying that he had dementia and the 25th Amendment needed to be invoked during Donald Trump's first term. We'll go through that. Even Newsmax did a special today where they were attacking Bannon and saying, wait a minute, Bannon was behind all of the rumors internally that the 25th Amendment needed to be invoked. And that was Bannon and Epstein talking about that. You know, also you have Donald Trump talking about how the Potomac River smells like poop and that there's all this sewage in it. And he keeps blaming Maryland and says basically it's feces coming from Maryland and that's why it stinks in Washington, D.C. right now. And he's like, it's the pipes. It's Governor Moore and his pipes in Maryland. And it's like, do you even know where the Potomac is? Like, do you know that it's in D.C. and it's under the control of the federal government? You have Governor Wes Moore, who's like, these are like deeply unserious people. You don't know where the Potomac is. You don't know where your own water is. It's under federal control. And Governor Moore's like, you're blaming me? We try to send some people in to help you because you didn't know how to clean your own feces in Washington, D.C. So we tried to, and now you're blaming us? I mean, look at what Donald Trump's hand looked like yesterday. It's as bad as we've seen it. Aaron Rupar posted this photo. Look how discolored it is. As this other account says, the media's complete and utter lack of interest in finding out what's going on with Donald Trump's hand when they spent every day of Joe Biden's presidency idly speculating that he had dementia is effing infuriating. I agree. But guess what? We're the media now, okay? More people watch the MeidasTouch network than any other news media. MeidasTouch was yet again the #1 podcast on the YouTube charts, beating Candace Owens and Joe Rogan. And then last week we beat Joe Rogan 2 weeks in a row. By the way, hit subscribe to our YouTube channel. Help us get to 6 million subscribers. We're so close. Hit subscribe. But then yesterday, as Donald Trump was, you saw the way his hand looked, you saw his physical features. So he's giving a speech yesterday and he just starts talking about Nicki Minaj, like the rapper, like how beautiful he thinks she is and her skin is so soft and her nails are so long and she's just so beautiful. And Trump is like slurring his words, like, I won't do the impression, but he's like, Nicki Minaj, she's so beautiful. Here, play this clip.
I love Nicki Minaj. She was here a couple of weeks ago. She's so beautiful. Her skin's so beautiful. I said, Nicki is so beautiful. Her nails are like that long. I said, Nicki, are they real? And she said, she didn't want to get into that.
Okay, now just look at what he's posting as well. Again, you heard what he said about Nicki Minaj. He's posting memes like this. I will be the one to shut it down. He's posting AI images of his golden ballroom. He's posting, will be the greatest ballroom ever built, now rising at the site of the White House, fully paid for by American patriot donors, 0 costs to the United States taxpayers. You looked at the Epstein files? Yeah, we talk about it here a lot. Here are the messages from Steve Bannon and Jeffrey Epstein. Here's what they were talking about it. They were saying, and no soldiers in the fort. He is really borderline. Not sure what he may do. They're referring to Donald Trump being borderline, dementia. They go on to say, going to blow him up right out of the box. White House has 0 plan to punch back. Ford Apache with no cavalry en route. Spoke to my Dems this weekend. Boy, our emotions running high. No, it does not stand for effing blow. F&B director. I'm back in the F&B biz only. We are either 2019 or it will surely own us. Hell of a year. You have Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's out there saying, Steve Bannon went to jail for Trump, but back on January 1st, 2019, he was texting Epstein about the 25th Amendment. Also, there is no excuse for having such a friendly relationship with Epstein. And you look at these messages and they're talking about invoking the 25th Amendment right here on Donald Trump. You have Mike Flynn saying the White House, or at least the DOJ, needs to come out and say what they plan on doing. I remember all the 25th Amendment talk in the first term. It was really ugly. And if Bannon and Epstein were behind it, Bannon needs to be brought in for questioning. This is what they were saying on Newsmax. You had Higbee talking about Bannon and talking about the plan between Bannon and Mike Pompeo to replace Pence and invoke the 25th Amendment. This is what Trump's people were talking about. And Epstein was in the center, helping Trump's first cabinet and helping some of Trump's advisors try to get rid of Trump with the 25th Amendment because they thought Trump had dementia. I mean, there are emails here from Epstein saying, some at dinner with Donald Trump last night were concerned about dementia. Tons of makeup, did not recognize old friends. And that's one of the things that we're seeing right now as well. Here's the Newsmax piece. Here, play this clip.
And then they told us all throughout the next 4 years that our tech was secure, and it was the most secure election ever, after bragging about meeting with the people who Jeffrey Epstein and Steve Bannon claimed could hack our elections. Their words, not mine. Make it make sense. But why was Bannon or any other officials in any other role meeting with people who, according to these emails, were doing or trying to do or possess the power to do all that? Let's look at some of the other stuff from these files too that even goes crazier than this stuff with Bannon. Why was he talking about replacing Trump, swapping Pompeo as the VP with Mike Pence, and then using the 25th Amendment to make Pompeo the president? These are text messages with what is assumed to be Epstein, confirmed to be with Bannon. Quote, I like the idea of Pence stepping down in favor of Pompeo, so when it happens, he becomes president. That's from allegedly Epstein. And I'm thinking, it? What do you mean by it? Bannon responding, that is his name, has this been shopped? Epstein replies, Rudy did lay out impeachment, Pelosi vote, and don't go after Ivanka.